So the name Dr. Disrespect has been a very infamous and very big one throughout like this whole year. You either hate him, you either love him. It kind of goes back and forth either way. There's just so much collision with this whole situation that I think every majority of the internet is very up to date on. Um, And yeah, Dr. Disrespect finally responded on the whole thing. He finally off his vacation. And yeah, we're going to check it out. Now, if you're going to wonder what my stance is on it, I like to just sit back and wait until like all facts and evidence are provided. Everything has been already like laid out on the table so we can finally decide. I will say I think one of the worst things ever for the internet that everyone does is this mob mentality. This mob mentality of like you just see people spamming it, so you're going to spam it. And that goes both ways. Like for example, oh, I stand with Doc. I stand with Doc. He's innocent. He's innocent. You don't know that. We really don't know what the situation is until all the investigation is done. And even goes for the same with people who are going and saying, "Oh, he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile," like stuff like that. That also we cannot confirm or deny it. So I think it's best for majority of these things is to just kind of watch how it plays out and then look at the evidence. So I just want to do a quick recap on basically the original statement that the doc has provided. So that way, when we actually watch his video response, we can kind of like compare and contrast and see what's going on there. So if anyone remembers, his original response was pretty much this. So this isn't really a response, it's more of a statement. His original statement was the Twitch ban. Hello, I want to make a quick statement. Let's cut to the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone in Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark of what happened yesterday with Midnight Society, and well, we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and their families, and I'd never want to jeopardize that the culture we have carefully crafted. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that two former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. I feel like I should have just read that. I mean, this part is like the more important part that we're going off of right now. Were there Twitch? I cannot fucking talk today. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I've never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding the civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear. It was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have been brought against me. Now, from a moral standpoint, I absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll fucking own my shit. This was stupid. Now, all that's being said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no fucking predator or pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me fucking knows that I stand on those things with those types of people. Fuck that. There's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate about hearing. Don't be labeling me as the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Now, I don't want to make like it's like lazy journalism or anything like that. I'm not even really a journalist, but I'm just gonna have this one right here, and you can pause and actually read it yourself. I'm pretty sure like pretty much the whole like meat between the sandwich was the last slide I just read. Now, for me, how do I feel about these things? I'm kind of like I said, I'm kind of right in the middle. I do agree with a lot of people where it's very inappropriate and it's very concerning. Because the 17-year-old girl, I think she was 17, is a 17-year-old girl. Um, you really, as a grown adult, I don't think that's appropriate ever. I can't even talk to like teenagers besides like my little sisters. Like it's like I can't. Have you ever tried talking to a fucking teenager as like a grown adult? It's so hard. I can't even connect with them. So that's why it's like, unless it's like family or anything like that, I really don't see it being appropriate to communicate with anyone under the age of 18. You know what? Fuck that. Fuck that. Honestly, if I'm being real, I won't talk to anyone under the age of 22. I can't relate with anyone younger than that. It's just they're different. They are different. Like our mindsets are totally different. We don't connect on certain things. So I will agree on that. But one thing I do want to harp on that I think is really important in terms of like, the internet and how people perceive things is pretty much the statement of uh I've seen all the remarks and the labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. That's really important. I think the more that we group on this mob mentality, on the second we see something like this and we go immediately throwing the PDF file memes and stuff like that, the less value it has as like an actual like statement or an actual label on someone. I know that's a little confusing, but when you have everyone just saying like, "Oh, PDF file," like everyone just mobbing and saying it over and over again without actually looking at the situation, I think it detracts a lot of the investigation behind it. That's just me. I maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I just hate the mob mentality that people have when they would just see, I don't know, like a follower say something or someone they're following say something, and they would immediately hop on it, and that is their argument for the rest of the time. I disagree with that mentality wholeheartedly. I believe we should all sit down and have more of a critical thinking aspect on this sort of thing with anything on the internet. I don't really agree with just seeing something on the internet and then bam, that's your argument. So I'm probably taking up enough of the time talking about it, reading the statement and things like that. So yeah, let's get into his actual response, his actual video response, and we'll kind of deconstruct it from there. So I want to say before we get into the actual video itself, it starts off with the doctor, the doctor, Jesus Christ. Well, it starts off with Doc basically saying, "Hey, like he's explaining all the legal like parameters behind the settlement before. I'm gonna skip all that, and not because it's like oh my god I'm trying to rob you of stuff or like make this a quicker video, but I'm mainly trying to skip it because it really doesn't pertain to what the subject matter of why what the fuck of why we are having this conversation, why he was put on such a he was put in the hot seat essentially. So I'm skipping that part. We're gonna go straight into basically him calling out the original accuser, and then I believe also giving his side of the story.
Years later, Cody, why do this? What was the point? This was settled professionally. And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020. Well, I mean, for what? Cody, why? Did you not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time? Did you not know the repercussions of accusing me, Cody Connors? You see, you don't know shit, and it was obvious from your tweet. You didn't have any first-hand knowledge of my dispute with Twitch. You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages?
So that's actually really important. I think that's what defamation. I just wanted to say that part real quick.
Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do. And yeah, I used Twitch's Whispers, but trust me, I wasn't sexting anyone. You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs. When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? You didn't. Neither did any of these journalists, and neither did Twitch at the time.
So that's an interesting statement. I actually didn't read about that. I could have sworn that someone was saying that she was 17, and the age of consent. I always, like I said, like how I said earlier about how I feel these sorts of things. I just don't feel like even at the age of, like, let's say 18, I don't think it's appropriate at all for anyone who's old, and I mean old as in the sense of like older than 25. I don't think it's right at all for them talking at all. Talking, interacting with each other. Oh, okay, interacting. I don't want to sound like a fucking Nazi or something like that. Interacting's fine. But I just don't think, intimacy should begin between anyone at that point. There's like a rule where it's like half your age plus 7. I don't really believe in that either. I just like to go off of like how you are as a person. And I just don't feel that at the age of 18, 19, 21, 20, okay, 22 is kind of okay, I guess. I just don't think that's appropriate at all. So, if there's like a side on this whole thing where we're going like against the doc and with the doc, on that note, even though she's claimed to be over the age of consent, I'm still going against, just because I still don't think it's appropriate. But that's my moral high ground. I'm not gonna like let that like impede anyone or things like that.
Time of the ban. You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon, but you're wrong. Let's set the record straight. I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met in person ever. Your bullshit accusations gave false courage to other former Twitch employees to make shit up as well. I suspect all of you sort of planned and coordinated this attack.
I do think it's important to maybe at least adhere to his word on that. I mean, that was always one thing where I remember seeing it on Twitter where it was just like all of a sudden Doc was messaging a minor, and then it was like Doc was messaging a 17-year-old girl. Oh, Doc was trying to meet up with this girl at TwitchCon. There really was no receipts, and I think that's a really big deal. Because like think about being on the other side, how easy it is to make up a lie about someone. For you, for example, let's say like you send me a comment, I find your username, I find who you are, and then I go on like Twitter and say like, oh yeah, this person fucking kidnaps kittens and skins them alive in his basement, and post it all around the internet. Like, that would paint you as an awful human being before you even have the chance to say anything. So if we're going on that, I will say I think we should probably be a little more careful with understanding like rumors, and especially when it comes to spreading them. I think that's really important. I mean, that's like textbook bullying back in the day.
These big time publications, these journalists, these various outlets are sort of just gossip channels now, don't you think, champs? They act like they're just gossip channels now.
I mean, that's fairly true. I think I'm kind of doing that right now too, so I can't disagree with that too much on that one.
Without any real journalism and real research happening. They report on all this based on leaks from 2 former Twitch employees, one of whom was supposedly on the trust and safety team. If these anonymous sources worked on the trust and safety team at the time of my Twitch suspension in 2020, then you would hope they would tell the truth. But apparently that's just too much to ask. If these former trust and safety team members, and by the way, I know exactly who they are, actually had firsthand knowledge, then what they conveniently left out is, 1, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting. And 2, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM.
I mean, you heard it there. I mean, if that's evidence and that is actually something that we can bring out and actually see forth on the documents, then yeah, I believe then I would stand by that, and I'd be like, okay, no longer will I say he was being like a pedophile or something like that. I wouldn't stand on it. Now, do I think he's still weird for talking to someone who was that age, even though it was not sexual, wasn't, do I still think it's weird? Yeah. Why, why would I? I'm not changing that. Let's not know. So yeah, this is a good point of like why I'm kind of like standing where I'm standing. Let's not go ahead and say that he's a pedophile without actual evidence that he is, because for example, he just stated as well, the cut it as a perfect example, you know, the committee has reviewed all the whispers and they believe that none of it was actually, you know, like pornographic, none of it was child endangering. And if that's the case, then without doubt I respect that. But let's not normalize that, hey, it's still okay to be, I believe the doc is like 40 or something like that. Still not okay to be that age and messaging, you know, younger people. I don't want, I guess I could still say minor, because he's saying that she was what, above the age of consent, something like that. Let's not normalize older people messaging minors inappropriately. Now I will say there is a fine line between inappropriate and sexual. I mean, inappropriate, you know, inappropriate could be like talking about like shit, or talking about or like cursing and just you know, just that's an important thing to think of when it comes to inappropriateness and things like that. We have to all remember that, hey, there's a difference between flirting, sexually charged comments, which would fall under child endangered, and then inappropriate, which is, you know, cursing, just talking about things, you know, that you really shouldn't. Being, I don't want to say adult conversations because people automatically put adult with like, porn and stuff like that, but you know what I mean.
I'll say it again. Neither I nor the Twitch user exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images. Cody Connors and these other anonymous sources are trying to paint a picture that I was exchanging sexually explicit messages and photos with this Twitch user. That never happened.
That's important to keep in mind. I will say, and this is kind of more attacks the mob brain people that have been, you know, saying that Doc is a pedo and things like that. A lot of you people don't understand what inappropriate. Oh wait. A lot of people don't really read or understand anything what they are typing and saying. They are just retweeting things that they have seen before, as I stated before. Like, I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you just said it yourself. You were talking to her, and you were saying, oh, but they would post like that little snippet that we read earlier about, oh, well, Doc, you said you just admitted you talked to her. You talked to her. You talked to the minor. A minor. What is your argument? What are you saying? You were just literally repeating and going off of some shit that you've seen on like fucking Twitter, Reddit. We need to stop with that mentality and behavior. You need to actually sit down and look at everything and think about what you're fucking texting before you say it. That's why I hate Twitter. I'm addicted to it, but I'm still on it, unfortunately.
I even used the word inappropriate purposely. And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
Okay, so he says he used the word inappropriate on purpose. That one, I'm like, I'm not really standing on anyone on that one. That's kind of weird. I feel like that's like kind of like a gaslight lie. Like you're like, like I said that on purpose. You know, like Drake when he said like, oh, I fed Kendrick the deets on purpose. I'm like, I think you're just saying that to say that at that point. I don't really believe that one wholeheartedly. But we'll go on. But yeah, he has a good point. I mean, he just said it right there. Offhandedly, like jokes that are taken out of context. Oh, excuse me. They really don't count as, you know, like sexually charged or inappropriate, child endangering.
I mean, how would each of you look If all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words. And this is not a situation where a victim publicly accuses someone of wrongdoing. That never happened here.
That's a good point too. I'm not gonna lie. Between my text with all of my homies, my girlfriend, and even other my friends who are like just casual friends, things like that. I'm pretty sure if they were to take things out of like context or whatnot, it would make me look pretty bad, like a pretty bad person. And I'm pretty sure people would relate the same. Did I just dox myself? Or did I just fucking cancel myself? Oh, that's crazy. So not to, cut you off or prevent you from reading or listening to like the main points, but majority of the video was just basically Doc going off of basically why Twitch was coming after him, the circumstances that were funny while they were, basically doing the investigation on his end, or why they banned him, the court case, the settlement, and then also other streamers that do like the same thing and have gotten away with it, or things that haven't got banned. I'll go ahead and just link that just so you can watch on the own. But I just mainly wanted to highlight like the main meat in this sandwich on why it's very important. But yeah, that's pretty much that's like the main part of the response, like the most important part at least. And I want to say, where do I stand on it? Well, like I said, I do hate mob mentality. I hate people that just go off of things that they say without actually knowing the situation or knowing all like the evidence behind it. Even when that Cody guy had leaked it, we still didn't have like everything on the table. Not everything was there. So I don't know why immediately we all jumped on this train to go out and throw these words and things like that, against him. I mean, I don't think that's very fair. However, I still think it is weird that someone of an older age is messaging anyone under 18. All right, we'll say under 18, keep it legal. And Doc did put a point in there where he's like he engages with his community, things like that. I get that. I mean, and if I had someone who was 16 that was like messaging me and asking me like, hey, like I really like your stuff, I would probably keep it very, very like short and formal, but I don't know, nice enough. I just don't really believe having a relationship with someone who's underage unless you're literally a mentor to them. I just don't think that's appropriate. So that's where I kind of stand on it. If you watch the whole thing, thank you. I know like this is a long video. It's a lot to go through and a lot of you just watching me watch someone else. So I appreciate that. I will say I am trying to grow the channel. I've been actually very, very active on this channel. What the fuck? Ah. Anyways, so I've been actually really, really active on this channel and on Twitch. So if you can actually go ahead and actually try to help me and support me by basically just, liking the video and subscribing, that'd be perfect. You can even go find me on Twitch, subscribe there. I'm trying to get to at least 100 subscribers by the end of the year and 100 followers on Twitch. So that's like my main goal. If you can really help me out and achieve that, that'd be perfect. And I'd really greatly appreciate that. But yeah, go ahead and let me know how you feel about this Doc situation. I mean, I already pretty much told you like 4 times how I feel, but I'm very curious to how you guys feel about it. Genuinely curious. So anyways, have a good one.